Braxcast time once again. This is the 34th episode of the Braxcast, and we got a really exciting one. So it was earlier in the week on Monday, it was like something's going to get announced on Tuesday, and I thought for sure we were going to get a surprise drop of a Blood Roof campaign, and we didn't get that. What we did get was the announcement of an Isom statue. So this is the Young Isom statue with Rippaverse and Iron Studios collaborating. Iron Studios is a toy making company based out of Brazil. They work with all the big guys in comics, and now they're working with Rippaverse to make a 12-inch resin, metal, and polystone statue. $275, limited to 500 copies, and it's a representative of Isom in this cover D of Isom number 2 by Kanan White, and paying homage to the young Isom, who we don't know much about. His existence really is implied, and we get very little, page time with Isom in this book. Isom number 2 has young Isom going after facing Shodron, and that's what drives him to retire and then eventually become the modern Isom, where his story picks up in Isom number 1. But this is a really interesting statue, and I didn't want to bury the lead. We've got some other news that I want to get into, but I want to get into this statue first, since the Yaira statue closing out the Yaira number 1 campaign was something the community was really excited about, and the community, I think, is just as excited to have an Isom statue. Of course, he's the most popular Rippaverse character. His book launched Rippaverse. The first 2 campaigns were multi-million-dollar campaigns, Isom 1 and 2 being those highest-grossing campaigns for the Rippaverse and independent comics in general. So Isom's got very much, I wouldn't say like a super long legacy or anything like that, but he definitely has this presence about him in terms of just bursting into the comic book scene and really building up the Rippaverse as this real comic book company that's using that support that the fans gave to Isom and 1 and 2 to really build something great. And this is really part of it. So not only is Iron Studios working with the Rippaverse to make this one statue, it's going to be a partnership. There's other things in the vein of toys and statues that are coming, not only from Iron Studios, but from Farland Toys as well. So they're really paying true on those words. So it's really exciting to see what's going to happen next. But another interesting thing is young Isom. So I've talked a bit, I'm not sure how much on Braxcast, but what I love is really a zero-issue origin stories for characters. So an Isom number 0 and Alpha Core 0. And instead of doing an Isom number 0, having a young Isom miniseries that goes from the very beginning of how he became an Accept to that fight with Shodron would be a really, really interesting comic book series. And that's something that was teased about on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, but we don't really have any confirmation of that being a thing. Of course, I think that's something that should come after Isom number 3. Get his first arc tied and squared away, but having a young Isom series, like I said, giving us a true origin of Isom and ending with Shodron, and you can do that in like a 3 to 6 issue miniseries, with books being around the length that the Isom books have been, 96 to 130 something pages. I think would be a really, really interesting thing, and the fans would absolutely love that and really solidify the difference between this young Isom version of the character and the contemporary version in the timeline. But before we get into the rest of the statue news, definitely want to announce a little bit, or not announce, but if you follow the Braxcast for Rippaverse news, of course, this was announced on their social media. Eric July did a video, an October update, mentioning that there is a membership counter. If you go to the membership page on the Rippaverse.com, there was a mention of a membership threshold for producing an episode of the Horseman animated series at 5,000 and a full season at 10,000. Counter is up, and I just checked it. 1,050 members, so it's about 20% to the first goal of getting a full episode of the Horseman released. Membership at any tier, so you got 1,000 people, so that's about 20%. But other than that, we've got some delays from Hurricane Milton. Of course, the CGC guys are based in Florida. I've gotten some books rated from them. I think they're based in Palmetto, Florida, and that means they were in the path of Hurricane Milton, unfortunately. And you've got the Horseman delayed to November 18th, and Isom number 1 signature series delayed to 10/28, where the pre-orders are extended to accommodate for those delays in fulfillment, which are unfortunate, but it was the case as that, Storm better that region, and they don't want to separate the fulfillment of the CGC product with a non-CGC product. So hopefully everybody's okay, everybody can recover, and that's how it is, unfortunately. But this is very much a good thing in terms of them, keeping the fans updated with how fulfillment's going and extending those pre-order windows. So if you wanted a little bit more time to pre-order either the Horseman or get in on the Isom #1 signature series while supplies are still available, then you've got that time to do so. So that's in terms of the news for the Rippaverse itself. But we've got another showing of the Isom statue. So this is the free for 300 bundle. Was also announced with an Isom shirt, and I just definitely wanted to show off the fact that this is a really cool statue. And again, we can compare this to the cover in itself, and it definitely pays that homage. And you see how his suit is a little bit different, and the cross has got, I guess, more of a bold look. That's his Young Isom, form. And you've got the the more Afro haircut, where he's more of a buzz cut in the book itself. Although we don't see too much of Isom in his full-on suit, or his full-on suit in his actually not full-on suit, but I'm trying to find a good comparison of this more modern of the modern Isom, the suit that he got from Cedric and was using to fight. So you've got you can see it's hard with the coloring, but if you can see, the eye is structured a little bit differently. It's pretty subtle, I would say. Put that back there. But I think the difference is, like I said, between Young Isom and the Isom in the modern version of the timeline, it's definitely something that needs to be more solidified, and that would be a great thing to do in a Young Isom series, which I think the fans responded really well to. As I was saying before, he's obviously a very popular character, and as such, just want to mention the success of the Isom statue. 75 statues sold. This is a $275 statue. You still have 75 statues sold in less than a week of it being announced. So people are or I should say the fans are responding to this very nicely. Of course, this is a limited edition, only 500 statues, and people already snatched up 75 of them. So there definitely is a passionate fandom that has formed around the Rippaverse. And I think stuff like this is proof of it. The fact that, the Horseman is sold all 11,000 books, $650,000 in sales. I believe Isom #1 signature series is $200,000. So you've got a passionate fandom that's willing to, put their money where their mouth is, and they want to support and engage with stuff that the Rippaverse is doing. And it's honestly a really nice looking statue, like resin, metal, polystone, as that full cast. And it's a really, I think this is the best showcase of it. It's a really nice, pose that he's in, and of course having it pay homage to that cover D of Isom #2 is really nice as well. Part of that ill-advised Dark Ditch is the first one he's in, and of course it's the first appearance of seeing Isom in the Young Isom form, so I think it makes sense as well. But I think, like I said, it's the end. That's the culmination of the story of Young Isom, and that's what pushes him into retirement, which is how, there's even a delineation of that character in the first place, which, like I said before, having a Young Isom series would be fantastic. It would serve as that 0 issue. You could have it as a really special mini-series, so there's a collectability aspect to having all of those books. It makes it even more fun than just having it's Isom #0. But you can make it like a really special event for the fans over a longer period of time than just a singular issue. If you did, like I said, a Young Isom miniseries, because it's got a pretty defined start and end, and of course you could do so much in between that and have it be like the Clone Wars, where you're doing a lot of day to day, not necessarily boring, but stuff that takes place over it's a couple years that Clone Wars or some event in the universe happens, and then you're going by the week by week events of that era, and you can get a lot of content out of that. But I think having a nice solid mini series to be that origin for the full ongoing Isom series is a really good way to do it, and it allows the Isom to be not too split between two different books. I think having a mini series, like I said, for Young Isom that leads into the full on Isom series, so that way you don't split the readership over two books that you have to keep up with, I think is a really fantastic thing, and I think that's the way I would go about it if I was editor-in-chief at the Rippaverse. So hopefully we do get a Young Isom series, and this Young Isom statue is fantastic. And of course, there's always getting into Horsemen as we get into that. Not too many questions of the day, or any questions of the day. They're focusing more on those Halloween trivia. So that's what they're really posting. And of course, keep up with that because there's going to be that quiz at the end of the month, and there's a cosplay contest as well. I talked about that in the last episode of the Braxcast. So there isn't much more other than that, and I definitely wanted to focus on this. I'll show it again. Epic Isom statue, right? To have an Isom statue, which is what fans wanted ever since Isom 1 came out. Finally, something that's available, and have it be so cool, and have it really be a teaser for a Young Isom series as well is a fantastic thing. That's what I really wanted to highlight. So if you are excited about this statue as I am, or just the Rippaverse in general, leave a comment below. I always love reading your comments, and I love reading comics as well. But this has been it for the Braxcast. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one, and Joker is out.
Thank you for tuning in to the Braxcast. Be sure to like, comment, follow, and subscribe to keep up with the Rippaverse.